What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're talking about 10 fragrances. We've got some designer, we've got some affordable Middle Eastern clones, and we've got some niche that, based on my experience and my thoughts, will knife through the cold. Everybody's experiencing snowstorms, crazy winter storms. It's cold all over the place, and I think now's a good time for this topic. There's people that are cozying up with their fragrances, and here's some that I plan on wearing that you might want to look into. Stay tuned. To start things off, I wore this yesterday. Now, I unboxed it and did a first impressions less than a week ago, and I could barely smell it. It was very faint. It took a minute to really start to settle in, but just after a few days of sitting, it's crazy potent. Super saffron, cinnamon, and plum liqueur. We've got Teriaq Intense from Lattafa. Oh my, I can't think of a Lattafa fragrance I like more than this one. Not based off the ones I have. This is hands down my favorite. Loads of cinnamon, and I get a lot of that plum liqueur. Oh man, so good. Monster performer too. I actually ended up doing too many sprays. My whole apartment smelled like this yesterday when I sprayed it on. It's affordable, it's an original, it's kind of in the vein of Angel Share, but it's really not Angel Share. It's, like I said, it's kind of got elements that go that route, but I don't necessarily not like it more than Angel Share, but for the money, it's pretty hard to beat. The quality here is really good. Again, the performance is outrageous just after a few days of letting it settle. Absolute monster. Don't hesitate, especially if you're a fan of cinnamon. If you like cinnamon heavy, super fiery, hot, spiced fragrances, you'll probably like this. Lattafa's Teriaq Intense. Next, speaking of spices, warm, spicy, earthy. The tobacco note here gives it more of an earthiness than a distinctive tobacco smell. It's warm and ambery, and of course has that sweet DNA, roasted chestnut kind of stuff going on. It is Strong With You tobacco in the Emporio Armani Strong With You line. This is one of their newest releases. Still waiting on the Parfums to come out personally. They never release bad flankers in my opinion, and this is the most recent one that came out in 2024. And it is just built to knife through the cold weather. This stuff is just built for the cold. It's one I strongly, let me get the focus back. I just noticed that it was a little blurry. My apologies, the focus locked. Man, this stuff is really freaking good. I don't know if you've ever tried it, but you really should, especially if you like the Strong With You line. This is hands down the most warm, spicy, dominant of the bunch. Again, that earthiness adds to it. It's very, very spiced. All of them have different levels of spice, but this is the one. This is a lot of them could cut through the cold pretty easily with their strength, but that warm spice is just something about it that does it for me. If you haven't tried this one yet and you like the rest of them in the line, you owe it to yourself. Strong With You tobacco. Next, we've got my favorite designer release of 2023. Hands down my favorite. It is Spicebomb Infrared Eau de Parfum from Victor and Rolf. This is warm resins, fiery, red-hot spice. It's a red peppered spice, smoky, leathery. For all of the Spicebomb line, probably the most mature of the bunch. It's heavy on the sillage. It doesn't scream off of the skin early. It's very present, very prominent. It's strong. It's not a beast initially with the way it projects, but the sillage it settles into is nice and hefty, has a lot of oomph to it, and it's just overall captivating. Super, super warm and cozy. Super warm and cozy is what we're looking for when it comes to knifing through the cold. Because, like I said, it's snow for a lot of people everywhere. It's pretty cold here. Literally, as I record this, it's 40, feels like 35 with the wind chill. Nice and cold here in Panama City Beach, 3 minutes off the beach in the Gulf Coast. So if it's that cold here, there's some spots that it's really, really bad here across the country. And fragrances like this will keep you nice and cozy while you're dealing with that snow. Performance is great across the board, especially with longevity. Spicebomb Infrared EDP. A personal favorite. Literally yesterday in my live chat, had a lot of people wearing this as their scent of the evening or scent of the day, because it does such a good job at knifing through this cold. It is Parfums de Layton, one of their greatest creations. Hell, one of the greatest mass-marketed niche fragrances ever, in my opinion. This has this mentholic geranium Vicks Vapor Rub type mintiness, nice fruity apple, very warm, spicy, creamy vanilla, not hefty woods in the base. There's tons of clones out there, and there's a lot of good clones out there. I get asked all the time, what about this clone or this clone or this clone of Layton? And my response is always the same. This is one of them ones. Save up and get Layton. I strongly encourage. Creamy vanilla. It was doing creamy vanilla right long before Altair came around. Again, there's other PDM fragrances where, and actually one in this video where it's like, just get the clone. But when it comes to Layton, get Layton. It's got that little something extra, that magic that the alternatives can't seem to capture for me. It's warm, cozy, sweet, and spicy. It is just something to behold. I strongly encourage you to get your nose on this if you haven't yet. And if you have it, it's time to spray it. It's Parfums de Marly, Layton. Speaking of that one that I would say get the clone over the original, Fragrance World, French Avenue, Liquid Brun, similar to Altair. Scary accurate. Really close, really good. Creamy vanilla in woods, orange blossom, hint of citrus. Light spices, but thick, creamy, robust, woody vanilla smell. Really good performance. I'm not going to call it a beast, but it's definitely on the stronger side of things when it comes to projection, sillage, and longevity. It's around $35, $40. This is probably most people's clone of the year last year, while 99.9% of the time I'm going to say get the original. This is one of those rare examples. I say get the original. Get the clone. Sorry, twisted my words. Yeah. Fragrance World, not everything they do is a hit. Sometimes they have their fair share of misses. I would say probably more than most. I would say like 70-30 hits to misses with Fragrance World, at least in my opinion. This is a home run hit, one of their best they've ever done. Strongly encourage it. Save your money. If you want to get the Altair, to have the original, I understand it is the original art. Support the original creation. It is the best route to go. But if you want to save some money, you're going to get the same experience here. It's Fragrance World's French Avenue, Liquid Brun. Now with this next one, this is warm. This is spicy. This is syrupy, thick, sweet from honey. I recently smelled the newest inspired fragrance because it's not a direct copy. It's literally Club de Nuit Lionheart Peppermint Le Male Elixir. So that's a little too fresh for this situation. That's why I believe the original Le Male Elixir is the way to go. You're looking to knife through the cold. You don't want all that peppermint freshness. Of course, it'll be great. It's cooling in the cold. It smells, mint smells good in the cold. But to knife through that cold, this is where it's at. This is the stronger fragrance. It's a monster. This is a straight up beast performer. Vanilla, tonka bean, honey. You get a little bit of earthiness from tobacco. It's warm and ambery. You have a hint of green notes with some lavender as well. Man, this is where it's at. On the horizon with the Le Male Elixir Absolute coming. Let's not forget how good Le Male Elixir is. In the colder weather, this is a superior choice for most. If you like sweet fragrances, it's not over the top spicy. There's a hint of it. If you don't mind powdery, because it is a powdery sweet fragrance, but it is a monster, cozy sweet fragrance for this cold weather. Definitely the time to wear it. Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Male Elixir. Creamy, powdery, floral, sweet, woodsy, boozy, nice and warm overall. It is Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privee. What a great choice for right now. There's several you could go with here. Society Extreme. You could go with Gentleman EDP, Gentleman EDP Boisé. So many really good options here. But for me, the warmth of that added booze here makes it a little bit better to cut through the cold. Again, I'm looking for warm, I'm looking for spicy, or I'm looking for super thick and creamy to really make a difference to knife through the cold. And this kind of does a lot of that, if not all of it actually, and smells incredible. You add that powdery iris smell into the mix, and boy, do we have a winner. And it's not over the top crazy expensive, under $100. You can get most bottle sizes. I think 200 ml. The big bottle is going to run you a little bit more than that, but 100 ml like this, around $80-ish these days. Totally worth grabbing. A lot of people would say the best of the line. I won't argue with them. Society Extreme, I do prefer a little more, but this is definitely up there. This checks all the boxes for what I'm looking for to cut through the cold. Again, the added bonus of iris as well. It's Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privee. A true Middle Eastern beast. You're going to get crazy performance. You're going to get a phenomenal list of ingredients being used, as well as outlandish performance. It is Amouage Boundless. While everybody's loving Royal Tobacco, let's not forget about their previous tobacco releases, because this is probably their most mass appealing of their tobacco fragrances, more so than Journeyman. which let's be honest with each other. Amouage in general, all their fragrances can knife through the cold, no matter how fresh or heavy the profile. Here you get some blood orange, you get some spices. Of course, you have an earthy tobacco smell, some sweet vanilla, some other, a low litany of oriental spices to really kind of bring it to the forefront. Some people like to relate it to tobacco vanille. There is some relation here, but not the same fragrance. I actually prefer this, like far and wide prefer this. A lot of incense here as well. They love to use frankincense. So you get that nice Middle Eastern incense, churchy kind of smell to it, burning incense in church. God, this stuff is so freaking good. That blood orange, too. Citrus at the top. It is just magnifique. And it's Amouage, like I said. It's going to knife through the cold, no problem. Monster performer all the way around, in my opinion. You don't need a lot of sprays to cut through the cold with this one. If you like tobacco, you really should try this one. It's Amouage Boundless. Now, this next one was one of the best designers released last year, in my opinion. It's Carolina Herrera's Boy Cobalt Elixir. So Boy Cobalt Elixir, even though they don't really list the plum that I can recall from the original Cobalt, you do smell it. You got truffle, you have smokier notes to it. It's a thicker, sweeter fragrance. This is definitely nice and cozy for the winter. This will cut through the cold really well. You can also, I debated on going with Bad Boy Extreme right here as well. That's over the top, thick and sweet and creamy. But here I like the added smoky nuances as well as that fruitiness of the plum smell. Just gives it more layers. I honestly think this and Cobalt are the two best in the line, the two Cobalt flankers. That's me personally, they're personal favorites. But really, anything Bad Boy for the most part, especially Bad Boy Extreme, would really work in this situation. But for my taste, this is a little bit better. Again, that fruity nuance, the smoky nuance, it just elevates it for me. And performance just across the board. Projection, longevity, sillage, all above average, bordering beastly type of territory. You spray more, you get more. Boom. Just like that, you got yourself a beast. Definitely worth wearing right now. 'Tis, again, the right weather in the season. Bad Boy Cobalt Elixir. And one final Elixir flanker for you guys. I was torn between the Absolute and the Elixir, and I talk about the Absolute all the time, so I felt like it was time to give the Elixir some due once again. Boss Bottled Elixir. That's usually the two that most people say is their favorite, either this or Absolute. This was my favorite before Absolute because I love the incense. I'm all about the incense, like I was just speaking on the previous fragrance, Cobalt Elixir. This is loads of it. It's not over the top spicy. It is bright and aromatic while still being rich and resinous. Very, very, very smoky. Hefty performance. This stuff's a monster. This will cut through the cold, no problem. You gotta like resinous incense, the more oriental side of perfumery. You gotta enjoy that to really get a lot of love out of this. This smoky magic kind of stuff. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance. I strongly encourage you to check this one out. It's not gonna be for everyone. But for those that can appreciate heavy incense, oh my, is it one of the best to ever come out. Especially in a designer fragrance bottle like Boss Bottled. It's actually pretty impressive what Hugo Boss has been doing. Just built for the cold. I would strongly encourage you wear this while we have this snow we're dealing with. Boss Bottled Elixir. Well, that was the 10. We could have did 12, we could have did 15, we could have did 20. There's a lot of really good ones to knife through the cold, but these are the ones that I wanted to feature here today. In my personal opinion, these are phenomenal options for our current weather situation at the recording of this video. So I appreciate you checking out the video. I'll try to have links down below for everything. If you want to check any of them out, make sure to like, comment, subscribe before you leave. I'll see you in the next one.